Hi, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching and for subscribing. And if you're just visiting, please consider subscribing. So, you know that I love to blind buy. Although I know it is risky, I still do it. Even though I started doing it less than I used to, but blind buys still happen. And although I will say that overall, I have definitely been pretty successful with my blind buying, fails do happen. I think no one can avoid failed blind buys. And so today, I want to talk to you about some of these failed blind buys. And most of them will be recent blind buys, fragrances that I purchased very recently that didn't work out for me in one way or another. I was going to include these in a haul, but I thought instead of a haul, let's do failed blind buys, where I'm going to show you some of these new fragrances that weren't exactly winners, some in more ways than others. And also we'll mention a couple of other failed blind buys that were kind of major failed blind buys, or let's say most disappointing blind buys. Okay, let's start with some new fragrances. And I still have most of them that I would not consider successful blind buys. Now, the first one that I'm going to talk about, I actually don't have anymore. It came and it left. Of course, I'm going to be putting up a picture here, and it is the newest release from Essential Parfums, and it is called Fig Infusion. Now, I don't know what came over me that made me think that I was going to like this fragrance, because this is a fig fragrance that also has sandalwood, and 9 out of 10 times, this combination doesn't work for me. I know it doesn't work. So why I thought that this one was going to is beyond me. It's honestly, this one is my own stupidity. I should have never blind bought this fragrance, but I did it. I think it was on a sale somewhere, and you know, the sale part kind of just made me want to buy it. It happens sometimes. I try not to pay attention to sales, but sometimes, you know, you can't avoid it. Anyways, so what is in this fragrance? Like I said, fig and sandalwood are here already. There's also mandarin orange, black tea, orange blossom, and benzoin. And I kind of thought that maybe all these other notes that I love will make me love the whole scent. You know, I love tea, I love citruses, I love orange blossom, and I thought, okay, that's really going to help this fragrance. It's not going to be all about fig and sandalwood, but surprise, surprise, to my nose, it was all about fig and sandalwood. And like I said, 9 out of 10 times I don't like it, and I don't like it because this starts smelling very, very like sickly, milky to me. It kind of starts smelling like pickles. Yeah, and that's what this one smelled like. Like at first when I sprayed it, I thought, oh, okay, I think this is going to be good. But that good lasted like 5 seconds, and then the pickles started coming out. So yeah, I was disappointed, but I really shouldn't have been. I shouldn't have bought it. I know this combination doesn't work for me. I should have tested it first. But like I said, it was a new release. It was on a sale. I thought, yeah, I really want to try it. No, I shouldn't do it. It's a good lesson for myself. Don't do it. So this fragrance left. It was a definite failed blind buy. Second blind buy that definitely didn't work out for me was from a new to me house. It's called Map of the Heart. I've heard about this house a long time ago. Couldn't find it anywhere. Was really curious about it. And then this house popped up on Fragrance Buy, and I thought, whoo, I need to try it. Even though these fragrances have kind of mixed reviews, but I thought I really want to try it. And the bottles look so nice, like they look like actual hearts. So I purchased one of them. I purchased the red heart, which is also called V3. They sort of all have this, V with a number beside it. That's how they name them. I don't know, but it's also called red heart. Here I'm going to show you. I still have it in the packaging. Really nice packaging. Oh, let me open it. And here's the heart. Like, it's an actual red heart. So nice, so unique. Although I don't like the fact that it doesn't stand on its own. You have to lay it down. But, you know, the actual heart, so pretty, like so unique, you know, so unique. So I kind of, out of all of them, I thought that I was going to like this one the most. This was more my type of thing. It seemed very fruity. So let me start with the notes. It has red apple, it has pink pepper, bergamot, guava, tuberose, cinnamon, olivano, musk, sandalwood, patchouli, and vanilla. Yes, okay, there is a tuberose here, I get it, you know, but it's just one tuberose among many other notes, all of which I typically really like. And even tuberose, you know, I've been getting along with a little bit more than before. So I really thought I was going to like it. What does it smell like? In the beginning, it's beautiful, beautiful. You really get that red apple. It's such a delicious red apple. Like it's sweet, it's juicy, like it's really ripe apple. Beautiful. You get a little bit of bergamot, so a bit of freshness. You get a little bit of guava. I don't know if it's guava per se, but you get a bit of fruitiness. Not overpoweringly sweet. There is some sweetness, but not too much. But this red apple, crisp, delicious, juicy apple. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. When I first smelled it, I thought, yes, I made the right choice. But when it dries down, it becomes very, very vintage. I don't know how else to describe it, but it just smells very vintage, like too vintage for me. Tuberose becomes very prominent, like that gorgeous apple. It goes away, like it really goes away. Like the other fruitiness that's coming from guava, it stays, but the gorgeous apple goes away. And it's tuberose and it's really creamy, like too creamy to my taste. And it just has that old-fashioned kind of vintage vibe. There's no other way for me to describe it. It's not even that tuberose is too overpowering. No, it's just too creamy and too vintagey for me. So again, unfortunately, it is a failed blind buy. It didn't work for me. I am trying to declutter this fragrance. You know, if anyone is interested, you're welcome. Let me know. But yeah, unfortunately, it's not gonna stay in my collection. Like it's okay. You know, it's okay. But I can't keep fragrances that are just okay. They have to be amazing to me. And this one is not amazing. Okay, next four are not complete fails, but they're also not complete wins. I kind of call them slight disappointments. Let's call them that. They also popped up on Fragrance Buy. They were also from two houses that I was interested in for a while, so I had to try them. The funny thing is that two of them weren't even exactly blind buys, because I tested them like a long time ago, and I sort of remembered how they smelled, although not exactly, so that's why I'm including them here. So we have two brands and two from each brand. First, let's talk about a brand that I cannot pronounce. I call it Chabad, although I think it's Chabaud or something like that. So I purchased Lait the Biscuit and Lait the Concentrate. These are 30 ml bottles. I have to start with the bottles. A little cheapy looking, honestly, a little cheapy looking. Like the cap is really squeaky, and then it's very plasticky and light. It goes on kind of tight, really tight. It's hard to put on and take off. So yeah, a little bit cheapy. But okay, let's get beyond that. So this is Lait de Biscuit. So let me see, it's kind of, the cap gets stuck and it becomes really squeaky. So let me spray it on. These are, you know, gourmand. These are gourmand fragrances. This one, like I said, I've tested before a long time ago. So I sort of remembered, sort of didn't. So this is Biscuit, Vanilla, Caramel. Well, yeah, That's exactly what it smells like. You know, it's some kind of sweet biscuit drizzled with caramel. That's what it smells like. You know, it's really, really pleasant. It's really lovely. It's my cup of tea, you could say, because I love gourmand scents. And yet, I'm not overjoyed with this one. You know, I'm not really impressed. And I'll tell you why, I think. Because I've tested them quite a while ago. Like, I was at the beginning of my niche fragrance journey. And at that time, they seemed really, really great. But I've tried and I've acquired so many other fragrances since then that are more interesting, that are more unique, you know? That these ones fail in comparison a little bit, you know? They seem a little bit too simple. They don't seem very interesting. They don't excite me very much. The scent is pleasant, very pleasant. It's my type of scent. It's very gourmand. And yet I'm not overjoyed from smelling it, you know? That's kind of how it is. And exactly the same situation with the second one, which is Lait Concentrate, you know? The notes in this one, again, very simple. It's milk, coconut, and caramel. And this one, to me, yeah, this one smells exactly like condensed milk. If you know what condensed milk smells like, this is exactly it. Delicious. It's delicious. I will say I like this one a little bit more than the first one. Like, this is very nostalgic for me a little bit, you know, because the condensed milk brings me to my childhood, and this is what it smells like. It's really pretty. Really pretty. This one disappoints me a little bit less than the first one, but still, I am left with the same feeling. You know, it's pleasant, it's nice, it's really nice, but it's kind of not exciting. It's very simple. It's very basic gourmand. So, you know, I am left slightly disappointed with these ones. I am not ready to declutter them, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, honestly. I'm going to leave them until cold weather is back, which hopefully won't be for a long time. But maybe I'm going to enjoy them in cold weather more. That's what I'm thinking. So they're not bad by any means. They're just not very exciting. And I'm kind of a little bit disappointed. Next, two fragrances come from a really interesting house. Again, house I've been interested in for a while, didn't know where to purchase it for, you know, a discounted price. Popped up on Fragrance Buy, I had to try it. The house is called A Lab on Fire. This is how the bottles look. Again, I'll start with the bottles. I was slightly disappointed because these are old bottles. The bottles have been changed in recent time, and I didn't know that they would come in old packaging. I was kind of expecting to see new, so I was slightly let down by that. I think it should have been, maybe I missed it. I don't want to say for sure, but I didn't see it written anywhere that this comes in old packaging. So I think it should have been indicated on the side, honestly, unless I missed it, which is very possible. Anyways, let's talk about these fragrances. These are really, really interesting, really unique fragrances. They're unique for sure. So the first one I have, let me tell you the name. This is called Terrasse LA. By the way, this is how the cap comes off, and this is the bottle. A little medicinal looking to me. So Terrasse LA, what's in this fragrance? We have Coca-Cola, lime, ginger, thyme, coriander, neroli, macaroons, musk, and amber. Well, I was very intrigued because this was a Coca-Cola scent. I really enjoy those types of scents. I think they're so interesting in hot weather. I have Boys from Kilian, which I love, which features the note of Coca-Cola. And so I had to try this one. One thing I will tell you with both of these, with both that I have, they smell quite different on a blotter compared to your skin, for me at least. So if you're testing them, test them on your skin, because for me, there was a significant difference. So this one, I wasn't impressed with this one at all when I sprayed it on a blotter. I didn't get Coca-Cola. I was looking for Coca-Cola. I didn't get it. I got a little bit of some kind of freshness, like more like ginger type of freshness, mixed with a lot of other spiciness. And that's basically it. Like, I really didn't get much on a blotter. I was so disappointed. I was almost ready to write this fragrance off completely. And then I thought, okay, but let me spray it on my skin. It's very different on the skin. This one especially is very different on the skin. As soon as I sprayed it on the skin, I was like, wait, did I spray the same thing? Coca-Cola is here. It's definitely here. You get a blast of this sparkly Coca-Cola together with ginger and lime. For sure you get it. On my skin, not on a blotter. So I got Coca-Cola. It was so pretty. I loved it. I loved it. It was so refreshing. Then all the spiciness starts coming in. You know, I think there's a little bit too much spiciness. Like, for my taste, you know, there is thyme and coriander. A little bit too much. Like, I wish it wasn't there. And I kind of wish that neroli wasn't there. It gives a little bit of, I don't know, bitter soapiness to me, and I do get it a little bit. Then what's interesting, because everyone kept saying it's like Coca-Cola with like macaroons, with something sweet. On the blotter, I don't get that. On my skin, when it started drying down, I started getting macaroons. So it really was like you are eating macaroons with this sparkly glass of Coca-Cola with quite a bit of spiciness added in. So it definitely smells a lot better on the skin, without a question. Now, do I love it? I am fascinated by this scent. I'm fascinated by both of the scents that I got from Lab on Fire. They're interesting, they're unique, they're different. I will definitely give them that. But are they wearable for me? I haven't made up my mind. I need to experiment with these fragrances more because they definitely intrigue me. But they're definitely not loves. Loves at first? No, definitely not. Do I hate them? No. Am I slightly disappointed and puzzled? Yes, I'm disappointed and puzzled by these scents because they're different. They're different. So this one, I'm gonna play with more. I really haven't made up my mind, but I cannot at the moment call it a successful blind buy. That's for sure. Second one that I purchased, I love the name. I have to say, really love the name. So it comes in the same bottle. It's called Messy, Sexy, Just Rolled Out of Bed. Okay, a little bit long, but creative. Let's give it that. So what's in this one? This one has peach blossom, bergamot, heliotrope, Turkish rose, toffee, tonka bean, vanilla, musk, cashmere wood, amber, and sandalwood. Okay, let's smell this one. Also different on the blotter and on the skin, although not as much difference as in the first one that I talked about. Here I do get peach blossom, and I get it with a bit of almost sourness, like freshness and sourness. And I do get a lot of powdery nuances. This is what surprised me. I mean, I know heliotrope is here, which can be powdery, but I didn't expect it to be so powdery because there's a lot of powderiness. What I like is that on my skin, I still get powderiness, but not quite as much as I do on the blotter, but still a bit too much for me. And this peach blossom, it's very strange. I sort of like it and I sort of don't like it. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. I like the scent, but at the same time, again, it seems a little vintage to me, which I don't like. So I don't know. I don't know how else to describe it. Then, as it dries down, there's a lot more sweetness that comes out here. You know, I don't know what the sweetness is. Again, can't separate it into different notes, but it's like I get some kind of pastry type sweetness. So it's, this some kind of light sweet pastry together with this peach blossom, which is kind of floral in a way, but also brings some fruity sourness to this. And then there is powderiness, which definitely subsides as it dries down, but it still always remains there. So I'm torn on this fragrance. Again, it's like I like it. but something kind of bothers me a little bit about it. I can't pinpoint what it is. So again, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by both of these fragrances. I need to test them more. I want to test them more. I want to try to understand them. And maybe, when I try them a few more times, I might fall in love with them. I don't know. Or I might end up completely hating them. Who knows? But I'm definitely going to be testing them more. These are unique, very unique and different. Even if the notes seem straightforward, these are not straightforward fragrances. I would not recommend buying fragrances from this house blindly. I think they need to be tested first. They are unique. So, again, like I said, these are not complete fails, but definitely disappointments for sure. So these were the new fragrances that I purchased that I would consider really failed blind buys. Now I want to quickly mention two other failed blind buys that were kind of standouts from the past year, that were biggest disappointments for me. And I've talked about them before, so you might have heard about them in other videos. The first one is Charlatan from Forte and Manley. Whew, that was the biggest letdown, the biggest disappointment, the biggest surprise, because this seems like such an amazing gourmand. I mean, when you look at the notes, when you look at the pyramid, when you look at the accords, it's an amazing gourmand. But in reality, oh my God, this was one of the most horrible fragrances I've ever smelled. No offense to anyone who loves it, but to me, it was unbearable, absolutely unbearable. It was so animalic, so barnyard-like. It was just horrible. I have no idea. I don't understand how the notes at the pyramid correspond to what I was smelling. I don't understand, but it was the biggest shock and probably the biggest disappointment that I've ever had since I started blind buying. And the second one that I want to mention is also, it wasn't terrible smelling at all, but it also ended up being one of my biggest disappointments last year. That is Terrasse St-Germain from Jewel et Mad. The reason it was a big disappointment is because I love this house. I love this house. It's one of my favorite houses. And this fragrance, although it didn't smell bad, but it didn't smell anything like I imagined it would smell. Because the notes in here are rhubarb, grapefruit, tangerine. I mean, when you read these notes, you expect something so fresh, so bright, so zingy. You have all these citruses in here, Then you have freesia, which is also to me like a light, watery kind of floral, There is lotus petals, again, this watery floral. There is rose, there is musk, patchouli, sandalwood. So still, overall, to me, it's a very light, bright, zingy, maybe even slightly aquatic type of fragrance. It didn't smell anything like that. All I got in here was rose and patchouli. And it was kind of a very masculine type of rose and patchouli. Not completely unpleasant, but kind of unpleasant. And to me, the notes just seemed puzzling. So many bright, fresh notes, and the fragrance didn't smell fresh at all. In fact, it was the opposite. It smelled a little bit stale to me. So yeah, this was unfortunately one of my biggest disappointments and kind of most memorable failed blind buys. So there you go. These are my failed blind buys, most of which happened recently, and a few kind of standouts from the last year. So let me know, one, are you familiar with any of the fragrances that I've talked about? Maybe you love some of them, and please tell me about your recent failed blind buys. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please remember to give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you soon in the next video. Bye.